The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by Cam Soda. Cam Soda has thousands of amateur girls next door and all of the hottest porn stars today, including Danny Daniels, Tori Black, and Brandy Love. Get free tokens today when you sign up at camsoda.com/podcast. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to all the phony fuckboys, Tinder trolls, and Bumble bitches. This is Billy Procida, and you're listening to the Man Whore Podcast. All right. What is up? Hey, how you doing, everyone? Welcome to my show. If you are new to the program, this is a podcast where I typically talk to women I've hooked up with about sex, dating, and why we didn't work out. This week is no exception. This week we've got on the show Allison. But first, show dates, people. Show dates. All right, Connecticut. March 3rd, I'm going to be at Comics at Mohegan Sun on the 4:30 p.m. show. Would love to see some fan whores in the audience for that. Then March 11th in Brooklyn, I will be at Tender Trap for the Keith and the Girl anniversary show. Definitely not a typical type of stand-up show. We will be celebrating 13 years of Keith and the Girl, a podcast I have been on many, many times. Always have a good time on. So do come to that. That's going to be at 7 o'clock. And if you want any more information on those show dates and others, head on over to manwhorepod.com/comedy. Also, a date you should have in your calendars, you should be prepared for, is next Wednesday. If you're listening to this on the day it's released, next Wednesday, February 28th, we have another Fan Whore Facebook Live Hangout at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. These are always a good time. Everyone has fun. We have a good chit chat as a community. I hope you show up. All you got to do is go to the Man Whore Podcast Facebook page, click the like button. Don't miss out. I've got two announcements for you people. Two announcements. One very good, one very sad. I'm going to start with the good one, because we're going to start exciting. Then I'm going to bring in the bad news, and then we're going to ramp it back up with a really good advice email. And then we're going to get to this week's guest, Allison. The first announcement is Man Whore Con tickets are on sale. Yes, not only do we have dates for this year's Man Whore Con, we got tickets, baby. We got tickets. Man Whore Con in New York City this year is going to be August 3rd through August 5th. And tickets are already on sale. I had a promotion where I was like, well, the first 5 tickets will be discounted. However, people have already bought the first 5 tickets and more. I've already sold more weekend passes on the first day than we had all of last year. So Man Whore Con this year, gonna be dope as fuck. How can you get tickets? Super early bird discounts are going to be available for a limited time only at manwhorepod.com/tickets. So go scoop those up now. How did those first 5 tickets get sold? How did anyone know to buy them? Those of you who are subscribed to my mailing list are the first to find out much of this exciting news, whether that be special discounts or events in my life. So head on over to manwhorepod.com, sign up for the mailing list on the right-hand side. Any of y'all on mobile, it's at the bottom of the page. I'll be telling you plenty about Man Whore Con over the coming weeks and coming months. But the first thing you need to know is that tickets are on sale, and you're going to want to go get one. The second announcement I've got, less happy. My girlfriend that I announced on the show last month dumped me about an hour or so before the Super Bowl, which for me drove me nuts, because I said, if Tom Brady wins and I'm dumped, I don't think I can handle that. Where's the Golden Gate Bridge? I'm not serious, everyone. Come on, settle down. I'm a comedian. I just fucking hate Tom Brady. It was rough. It was not a good breakup. It was not amicable. I would argue that, when Paige and I broke up, by the time I left, it was somber and sad. But the relationship ended with a hug and a kiss. This one ended over the phone, angry at each other. Those of you who follow me on social media know already that I was going through a breakup, am going through a breakup. Y'all have seen the good, bad, and the ugly of my tweets regarding such a thing. I think I've said what I've needed to say. I put out a Facebook post on the fan page, kind of going into it. I'll include a link to that in the show notes if you want to know more about how I feel about the breakup. I don't think I'm going to get into it here on the podcast. I don't think I'm going to go do a deep dive on it. I'm still processing and trying to figure out what was real, what was manipulative, where I fucked up, where they fucked up. I will say this much is when I asked my ex if they wanted to be my girlfriend, they were a little unsure and said, I'm fucked up, right? And I told them, hey, I'm fucked up too. Let's be two fucked up people together. How could this go wrong? Two super fucking flawed people in a relationship. I'm sure this will be great. And for me, it was great, except for the parts that weren't. And that's, kind of part of what leads to the breakup. So I've said this on social media. I've said this on the podcast when we were together, and I'm going to repeat it one more time. Please leave my ex alone. Please do not DM them. Please do not try to hunt them down and stalk their social media. Please do not go find their accounts and then read their thoughts on the breakup and then report back to me. I don't want to know. I don't care. Whatever they need to say is whatever they need to say. If it makes them feel better. Something someone said to me amidst all of this is, hurt people hurt people. And that goes both ways. I was a hurt person hurting people. They are a hurt person hurting me. But just leave it be. Okay? For me. If you want to know any more about my breakup, the only place I think, it's kind of funny. The only place I have talked a little bit more in depth about the breakup besides social media has been on the Keith and the Girl podcast, which I was on last week, and I would encourage y'all to go listen to that episode. I did an episode 2 days after my breakup with Paige. I did this one about a week after this breakup. The episode is titled Unzipped. It's number 2807. Go check that out. We do talk a lot about my breakups, plural, and why I am possibly a sociopath. So you can check that out if you want to learn more. But for now, I will talk about it in more detail when I think I am ready to do so. So let's thank you to everyone so far who has DM'd me and emailed me, who's noticed on social media that this happened and said nice things. Y'all are very helpful. I am very grateful that I have a community on which to lean for support. Before we get to this week's guest, Allison, there's an email I want to read y'all. Good email, good advice email. Spice things up. We're going to call her E, okay? E writes, hello from city not in this country. Hope you're well. I've been a listener for over a year now, and I love the podcast. I'm a 32-year-old straight female, Irish, but living in city not in this country. I grew up in a conservative Catholic home, and all my relationships until I moved to this city 4 years ago were very vanilla. Since moving, I have developed a love for what I'd consider mild to moderate kink. I've been in one 18-month mostly vanilla relationship in the past 4 years, which has recently ended. I am loving being back in the single, promiscuous market and experimenting with my kinky side. I recently went on what started out as an innocent Tinder date. I had no plans to sleep with him. In fact, I was determined not to. The date went really well, and towards the end of things, it got a little heated in the bar. His wandering hands discovered I was wearing lace-topped suspenders under my dress, and things went from there. We ended up back at my place and had sex. While we were fooling around, it became apparent to him that I enjoy to be dominated in the bedroom. We had fun, fell asleep, and then he left. That's the backstory. Basically, over the past 2 weeks, we've been texting, calling, and video calling daily. He revealed to me that he loves to dominate and wants me to be his sub outside the bedroom, as well as in bed. I'm so intrigued and turned on, but I'm also nervous. As a rule, I hate being told what to do unless it's in bed. So as you can imagine, I was surprised to find myself spending my Sunday afternoon photographing all my shoes so he could see and review. I was also surprised how much it turned me on. He has forbidden me to touch myself or orgasm until he sees me again. He has told me exactly what to wear on our next date, down to the color of my nail polish. I've been the perfect sub and obeyed all his commands. This is fun and completely fine by me. Where I start to get nervous is when he tells me things like he will sometimes treat me so badly that I'll hate him, but other times he'll treat me like I'm the only girl in the world. He has told me he wants to break me down to remove any bad habits from past relationships, and then he can rebuild me exactly how he wants. If I'm honest, I have trust issues, and it takes me a long time to trust that the person I'm with wants to be with me and that they won't leave me. I am petrified that I'm going to get so sucked into this and that he'll then drop me in a month or two and leave me broken. But I am so intrigued by this and by him that I want to carry on. I'm seeing him tomorrow. I'm nervous and excited. I imagine by the time you reply, I'll already have an update for you on how things went, but I would love to hear your opinion on this. I'm so new to the DS scenario. Help! So yeah, this email, this is talking about a 24/7 DS relationship. 24/7 Dom-sub relationships is when you control a person outside the bedroom as well as in the bedroom. You kind of dominate their life. I want to assure you, your trust issues are not the reason that you're nervous about entering a 24/7 DS relationship with a dude you've only known for 2 weeks. You should be nervous. That's intense. It seems like you've discovered something new and exciting, and that's awesome. But 24/7 DS relationships are varsity level sex, arguably pro level. You describe having only limited experience with very mild kink. I'm guessing it's just some rough sex and just being told what to do a little, like maybe someone tied you up once. Does that sound about right? I think you're playing outside of your depth here. There are a lot of quote-unquote doms out there. FetLife is full of dudes excited to be a dom. In reality, they're just excited to tell a woman what to do and not have to think about her pleasure or well-being. If the chick gets mad she didn't come, well, I'm not letting you come yet because I'm in charge, you slut. You're my slut. I tell you when to come if I'm not feeling lazy. A true dom, to my understanding, because remember, not an expert, a true dom cares about you as a human and cares about your pleasure. You are trusting this person with your body in a way that's way more intimate than vanilla sex. The red flag I see is this guy wants to jump to full force control before you even seem to truly know him. He is eager to break you, to rebuild you. But is he willing to break you into kink? Does he know you're new to kink? I think that's an important question. Does he even know that you're new to this? If he is a responsible dominant and he knows you're super new, he would not rush to something so immersive. Picking your nail polish is cute. Making you hate him is not. So I guess the first thing I need to ask you is, does he know that you're new? And if he doesn't, I think you just need to press pause for a moment and say, hey, I'm feeling nervous. I'm very new to all this. If he's responsible, he will slam on the brakes and say, hey, let's slow it down to something your speed. On a search of, is he really a dom on Google, this blog post popped up from DelaneMoore.com, and I'll have a link in the show notes. This excerpt stood out. In a true DS relationship, the submissive's thoughts, feelings, and desires are the dom's primary concern and attention. Not just around sex, but in terms of her overall happiness in life. Joanne says a dominant should listen, contemplate, encourage her to dig deeper, and will attempt to hear not just what she says, but what she doesn't say. If you meet a dom for coffee who is mouthy, rude, judgmental, and focused on talking about sex, I'd say run for the hills. He's either a control freak or in it just for himself and the kinky sex. So E, you've got trust issues. That's fine. You should feel comfortable asking him to slow down. If you indeed would like to slow down, because hey, I'm not going to tell you what you want in your life. If I were you, I'd tell him that you find all of this exciting, but that you're super new to kink and that you'd like to take the next few months to get to know him better. Like, what do you really even know about him, right? You'd like to take the next few months to trust him because it's been 2 weeks. And you'd like to take the next few months to learn some BDSM basics. Nothing too wild, and that's very fair and reasonable to ask. Another excerpt from that blog post. If a self-proclaimed dominant is pushing you to get sexual early on in your relationship, you should treat that as a red flag. True dominants know that it takes trust, which requires time to build, as well as respect, honesty, and great communication in order for a DS relationship to gracefully and safely unfold. A lot of red flags here. You're super new. He might be new too, who knows? Maybe he just watches a lot of kinky porn and goes like, I want to do that, but hasn't actually like done it well and responsibly yet. Or maybe he's just a piece of shit. I don't know. I'm also going to give you this link, and I'm going to put a link in the show notes. It's to a post called A Field Guide to Creepy Doms. So I'll put a link to both posts in the show notes for everyone else to check out. And E, I hope you check them out as well. But, you know, take your time. Let me put it this way. If he's worthy of your submission, he'll slow down with you. And if he's pushy, say, bye. Deuces. You're creepy and controlling. Bye-bye. I hope this helps. Nothing wrong with wanting to jump into a kink relationship, to want to jump to kinky sex, want to bring out some rope, do some spanking, some choking, whatever. You want to do some degradation play. You want to jump into that. That's all well and good. But 24/7 BDSM life doming, that is, like I said, that's beyond varsity level sex. Someone new to kink should not be doing varsity. You should be taking classes so that you can try out for JV. And if you want to send me your comments, your questions, your booby pictures, you can shoot that on over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. Now on to this week's guest, Allison. Allison, I went out with 2.5 years ago. Met her on Tinder. She was in between Emily, the physical therapist who broke my heart, and meeting Paige, who I would end up meeting about a month or two later. You know, exiting Emily, I was in this total fuck feelings, I want to fuck phase, as sometimes I get into, especially like after I get my heart broken. So I was doing that, and this was 2015, was not the most like ethical dude about things, in that I was too focused on the sex at times. I would get so caught up in like, well, I'm fucking and we're fucking, right? So I'm just going to treat you like someone I fuck and not like a human being. I can think of other instances from this specific era, these several months of this era, where I exhibited shitty behaviors. This also took place, I don't know, about a month or two after my, what I call the incident on Twitter, where I got into a major fight and was a huge asshole to a few people in the sex pos community that I sometimes reference. So it's, you know, just in general, not the best time, not my best showing as a human. And I met this really nice girl, Allison, and had some fun. She took me home. We fooled around a bit. And then I acted like a fuckboy via text message. Text messages you're going to actually hear on very shortly. I asked Allison to do the podcast a few weeks ago. I asked her to do it just before my breakup, and then my breakup happened, and then I realized, oh, I think this is actually a really good time to evaluate that, both so that I hopefully don't enter into the same patterns post-breakup now, and also to just think about how to be a decent fuckboy. Because being a fuckboy is not necessarily a bad thing, but there's a way to do it that is douchey, and there's a way to do it that's ethical. Just like it's not bad to be a dom or to want to jump into kinky sex right away, but there's an ethical way to do it, and there's a way that's abhorrent. And let's go ahead and get to me with Allison. Slightly nervous, only because, it's not like, again, we went out, like a couple times, right? It wasn't anything.
We went out once.
Once? Oh, was that really only that one time?
It was literally that one time.
You brought me home on the first date? Look, what was that about? No.
I wanted to.
Yeah. And I looked, before I contacted you to do the show, I was looking through I like to sometimes reorient myself.
Okay.
They're like, what was that about? Why that thing? I was, I remembered, oh yeah, like she cut that off, and they're like, because if you look at the final conversation, it's fine. It seems like, oh no, there's no hard feelings there. But then you look, and sometimes you actually were concerned you were overreacting. And I think if you only saw the last conversation, one might think that.
Okay.
Until you scroll up higher.
Got it.
And you just be like, oh, who is this fuckboy supreme?
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. I read the conversation before that. I was like, oh, that's like Billy at peak fuckboy. Not my best look. So, yeah, and now that I am recently out of a breakup, like less than 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I have a lot of text messages telling me I'm a sociopath and a narcissist and lack empathy. I thought it was a perfect time for me to talk to someone who I know I definitely wasn't great with. So I thought I'd give Allison a call.
That's me.
That's you. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And hello. After it's been about 2.5 years or so.
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How has life treated you? Better?
Life's been a bit up and down, especially recently. I just moved because my roommate was crazy.
What kind of crazy?
Accused me of being a lying, filthy
sociopath,
cheater.
Narcissist. Me too.
Yeah,
no. It's like this is happening to everybody.
But yeah, I didn't feel comfortable in my apartment anymore, and thankfully, a family friend had a room open, and I've relocated to Dimas Park, and it's super great over there, and it's where I first lived in Brooklyn. So things are coming sort of full circle.
Good for you. Okay, yeah. Things going all right. And are you dating anyone?
I am not.
No?
Single AF.
Why so single AF?
Well, I mean, I've only had one real relationship.
Really?
And there have been guys here and there that I've gone on dates with or hooked up with, but nothing long lasting.
Okay. Well, it's certainly not me. I only made it one date, so that's Do you find in the New York dating scene you get to just be a lot of one-offs?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of one-offs. I think I'm someone who I've always wanted the commitment, and I've wanted the one person to connect with and do things with. And I think a lot of dating in New York is casual, or people are always trying to find the next big thing, sort of. Straight guys are trying to sort of find the next better, slimmer or sexier or funnier thing. And I don't feel like
I assume you mean
competing.
A person, right?
Yes,
okay,
yes,
cool.
yes, a human being.
They're I'm ditching her for that new TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I put myself out there, and it's not well received, and I don't know why. And that's okay though. I'm gonna find a relationship that works for me when it's time. And until then, I'll keep going on single one-time dates and kissing frogs and trying to find a good dude.
Kissing a lot of frogs.
A lot of fucking frogs.
A lot of frogs in this city. Well, and sometimes I feel silly having on the women I've only gone on one encounter with. And I actually do now, now years in the show, I usually try to avoid the people who don't have as much context with me. But I do feel like, again, reading through the text, I was like, there maybe something here to take a look at. What was your, I guess, do you remember your first impression of me at all before I did the things?
I think so. We went out on a date for drinks, like sort of near my neighborhood. And I think you got there a little late. And then I don't think you really liked the place I picked. Or at least I had that impression.
Nope.
But then as we went on, you were very funny. You like were very complimentary, and that was very sweet. I thought that was very sweet. And I felt very comfortable talking to you, especially about, you know, sex and experience and things of that nature. So like all in all, I would say it was like a good date, and that's like part of the reason I brought you home. So,
and then after, and no one who cares about the what happened when you brought me home.
Yeah,
no
behind
one,
the
no one
bedroom
wants
door.
to hear the XXX details. Plus, anyway, that's bonus content. Don't you know better? But you know, afterwards, trying to get together again. I think we both were like, oh, that's good. But you know, do you remember at all how I conducted myself?
There was some sort of mention, if I remember correctly. I think we might be able to look at the playback, but I remember feeling like I feel like you were like at a person's place that you had hooked up with, and you were asking where my place was because you were trying to figure out if it was on your way home and was convenient enough to swing by to fool around.
I really hope that's not what it was. I hope that, because I remember the trains was like such an integral part.
Yes.
Of texting. What the fuck is wrong with me? I thought it was something along the lines of like trying to figure out what was a convenient place to be at, like my train going to work. I think I was trying to find someone who's like, because like someone who's on my train where I can sleep over and then go to work in the morning. But we can go to the tape.
We can go to the tape, aka the screenshot.
I've brought up screenshots. If this doesn't go back far enough to find them, then I do have my phone. But and this is weird. But just real quick, like, do you delete text messages?
Yes.
People think it's weird do you think it's weird I don't delete texts?
I think it's a personal preference, I don't care.
Sure. Some people think it's odd that I don't delete shit. And I go like, well, we have this like these computers in our pockets where like it doesn't, you just have added infinite almost text messages keep stored there. I come from like having my flip phone where I literally had to delete text messages after a certain period of time to make room for new. I would have to delete numbers. To take new numbers.
Oh, man.
Which when I was like 20 to 23 would actually end up being a thing I would like say to someone at a bar who was like picking me up. And they'd be like, oh, let me give you my number. I'd be like, oh, you know, we got to delete someone. I don't have space. I only am allowed 250 contacts. So let's go scroll through and figure out which of the 17 Amandas I know in my life. Not all of them, you know, intimately, just Amanda's a common name. It's like, which one should we delete? And then they would find that flattering. It's not the most fond memory I have of myself, but so I never thought it was weird. So sometimes I'll bring up a text message that's like 5 years old or like 3 years old, and people are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, what? I don't know.
Well,
why do you delete texts?
Well, I delete them because if I'm scrolling through my texts and I see the name of someone that I not necessarily had a falling out with, but that I like am no longer involved with or invested in, sometimes it can sort of be a reminder of, you know, those things. And then there's like the dwelling, and I'd rather not dwell. So I simply remove it from my like field of text vision. And then I like open up my inbox to new opportunities,
sure.
Which sounds super sexual, but it's not meant to.
I'm opening up my inbox. That's what I call my pussy.
There
my
you
inbox.
go.
So I love a good dwelling. I keep my the cute accusations of being a sociopath is like my favorite thing to scroll through these days. That's
I don't like to dwell on those things so much.
Oh, what are you, like a healthy person? How dare you?
Yeah, you know, like therapy's been a cool thing. So
I'm apparently supposed to try that one.
I recommend everyone try it. It's not for everyone, but I've found it beneficial.
So let's go through these. Do you think we should read these out loud? Do you want time alone with these? What are you feeling?
I at initial glance, I think I'd like a moment alone.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna step outside. This goes all the way down to right before I asked you to do the podcast. So this will have
Everything
all the way from this moment forward.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go leave the room, and I take it in, but like verbally take it in. So I think you had mentioned, I want to maybe like take some notes if I can. Instead of taking notes, like do the notes out loud.
Okay. I will try my best.
And by the way, I don't do reverse scrolling. I do if I want to go down, I'm scrolling down because I'm old school like that.
Okay.
People think
I'm just gonna
funky.
use the arrows.
Well, that's way analog. That's super old school.
Are you judging me?
No, I was just trying to defend myself for people who hate on me for not using the intuitive scrolling.
Oh, whatever.
I'm like, it's not an iPhone. It's a laptop. Okay.
I'm not here to judge.
Good. Pour water. I'm gonna step out and get my fucking face out of the room, and just like give me a shout when you. I'm just gonna come back in like 2 or 3 minutes. Be open. Again. Remember, be open. Be honest. You know, have natural reactions.
I'm gonna try and be open and be honest, but at first glance, I'm sort of just rolling my eyes. Yeah, he kind of an asshole. I'm not gonna lie. So even before our first date, he sort of made comments about how no one was available for a hookup, even though he was talking to me, someone he would potentially hook up with, and I personally did not find that to be the most flattering thing. We just had a momentary visitor walk in. Don't mind my huffing and puffing. So I realized that there's sort of like this, there's already like this weird vibe, but then we decided to still get drinks, and then we went out for drinks, and that was cool. And now I get to the part with the trains, which is going to be hilarious to relive. So just like not the most thoughtful, potentially. Oh, here's the one that got me. The text from Billy. I'm about to be dumb overworked though through the new year. So I was seeing if any of my partners lived off the blank train, because then I could totally schedule some sleepover dates. Thus my inquiry with you. To which I pondered and questioned, goodness, how many of us are there? So, yeah, I think we were just sort of on different pages of what we were looking for, and he was looking for very casual multiple partners. And as I mentioned earlier, I was not, really sort of on board with that. And, yeah, I think that's sort of where things, like derailed, I guess. I don't know. And then I sought clarification, which I'm glad I did. And at first glance, if you only saw the last part of our texting, you would think that maybe I overreacted. But yeah, I sort of just explained that, I wasn't this, place on a map to come and fuck and then leave out of convenience, because I, want more than just convenient sex.
How are we doing over here?
I think you can join. I didn't get through everything.
Did you get... Where are you at? Where are you at? Hi, everyone. I'm back.
He's back. We also had a roommate interruption. I hope you don't mind.
Nah, not at all.
Did some dish stuff.
Okay.
So I got to the point where I said that we should talk about sort of what was on my mind and what had bothered me about our conversation about the trains.
Right. Yes. Oh God.
So, no, I mean, like,
I want to throw my age in as a defense, but that's not going to work.
Why would that even come up?
Oh, I don't know. I like to blame youth as an excuse for being shitty, but
I'm younger than you.
Exactly. That's why I've got no excuses.
You have no excuse. No. At least not with me.
Typically, I like to throw that out there.
Okay.
I just know that I can't.
Okay.
Which is uncomfortable.
That's all right. So I get to this point in the texting where like we'd clearly gone on a date. Well, even before we were going on the date, you had made reference to like multiple partners, which that's totally fine for anyone to do, but it wasn't what I was looking for at the time or even now. So to like hear that, I was initially like a little put off, but I was like, this is his whole thing. Like, let me go on this date with him. Like, maybe it'll be fun. It's a learning experience. You know, maybe we hit it off. So then we go on the date, and then there's this text message somewhere sort of up here about like, I'm trying to figure out who lives off of this train or that train so that I can get to work. And I'm trying to figure out which of my partners, multiple partners again.
Hey, everyone, I fuck. I want everyone to know how much I'm fucking.
Yeah, he's fucking the whole town, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I can't find the text right now. But, yeah, so like it.
No, I think, right, you live off the A. Hey there, no, the G. And then I said, how do you get anywhere? Which is a valid question.
It's not.
The G?
The G connects to the F, the A, the C, the L.
When it decides to show up, it's like a deadbeat father.
It's the second most efficient train in the city after the F.
Okay. I've never liked the G train. When we were moving into this place and looking, one of the roommates, Steve, was like, oh, Billy, this place looks cool and it would be fun to live off the G. I was like, it would not be fun to live off the G.
The G is the best.
Mm-hmm. Said by people who live off the G. Okay, but then you say, I'm trying to find the thing but I'm about to be dumb.
That's the one.
Okay, sometimes I need 3 trains to get somewhere, but I don't mind. How's your week been? Quick deflection. All right, now it's overthink. Oh boy.
Here
but
it is.
I'm about to be dumb overworked through the new year. I half expected the next words to be, I'm so overworked from all the fucking I'm doing. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, guys.
I'm about to be dumb overworked through the new year, so I was seeing if any of my partners, because remember, I fuck.
He fucks a lot.
Lived off the AC, because then I could totally schedule some sleepover dates. Thus my inquiry, and I know you're both horny and cuddly. And the first word response.
Goodness. How many of us are there?
Oh, gosh. And then then I try to downplay it like, oh, it's not like I'm getting laid multiple times a week or anything.
Except that's exactly what you were suggesting you were doing because you're fucking everyone. So, yeah, so there was just this disconnect in what we were both looking for, and
I was also at like but this isn't even like normally how I don't think this is normally how I even interact. I have no excuses, but Jesus,
yeah, this is
amidst
a bad text.
the Ella Dawson incident that some listeners may remember, and
tell us more.
Nah, it's just when I got into like a big thing on Twitter, and then I was an asshole to everybody for like several months.
Got it.
And
no excuse.
No excuse.
Okay.
More an explanation.
Okay.
People go like, that's not an excuse. I was like, I didn't say it was. I'm just explaining it. If so, sometimes people ask like, why would you do that terrible thing? And then you say why. They're like, that's not an excuse.
And
you're like, you asked me why.
Yeah, I'm explaining.
Yeah. But
sometimes it's good to preface. This is not an excuse. I'm simply explaining.
Sure. That's that empathy thing I'm supposed to have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay. That one's important. One's really important.
As I've been learning recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the really bad one. And so where were you at? You were at the like when you finally decided to share.
So I like got to this point where I was like, hey, like I'd like to talk about this, and I like pointed out that I wasn't like necessarily feeling myself. Like I thought I was maybe overreacting, so I wanted to preface that. Because I think I had these expectations and these like delusional expectations, like, oh, we're going to go on this date and he's going to think I'm great. And then we're just going to date and it's going to be fine. Because like, that's what a girl fresh out of college living in a new city is thinking.
But isn't that what we all think when we go on dates where we think there's a connection? I mean, I've gone on dates where I'm thinking this person's hot. I don't know if there's going to be a connection, but they're clearly very sexual. Like maybe we'll fool around. But when we go on like a date, don't we all hope that it's going to be a date where we connect and go, oh my gosh, I am going to fall madly in love with this person eventually?
I think a lot of people feel that way.
That's what we want.
Yeah, I think most people at the end of the day, at minimum, are seeking connection of some sort. I have a friend who's like exploring polyamory for the first time. And so I'm trying to keep that in mind as well. Like you were seeing multiple partners and like that's an okay thing too. But I am of the like mindset that like I want to go on a date. I want to try and hit it off with someone. I want to keep pursuing it and just like on a one-on-one basis. And that just like wasn't what was going to transpire between us at this point in time.
Now, how often have you had to have this type of conversation? Hey, like I'm not, because you kind of leaned into it hard. Like you almost made it seem like this cancer diagnosis conversation we were going to have. You're like, hey, like, can we have a talk? Rather than just be like, hey, like I think you're just trying to get laid and I'm not looking for that and peace out, but take care. You kind of were, it was a big thing. Not that it was wrong or bad. Just,
yeah.
So is that normally how you break things off with people or?
I don't think I've had like this thorough of a conversation with anyone, but I think the reason that I felt comfortable to do it was because like on our date and during our hookup, I felt very comfortable to talk about things and you seemed very comfortable to talk about things. And so I felt like if anyone was gonna get where I was coming from, like I didn't think I was gonna, like my words were gonna fall on deaf ears. And it's not often that I think these types of feelings that I was expressing are often like fully heard and understood by the guys that I go on dates with.
Do you have friends who do you feel like other women feel similarly?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
A lot of my friends are like in relationships or are like single and not dating or like single and dating, but are more, I don't want to say, yeah, like casual. Yeah. I think I don't have a very casual approach to dating. And like I take things like very personally, like I'm very invested, I'm very sentimental. And I bring all of that like and all of myself like into a first date. And maybe that's, like unwise or maybe it's hopeful, but that's what I do because I hope to find someone who does that sort of same thing when they're coming to the table for a date. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're basically like, so normally you don't always go into the big long thing because you think they're not even gonna
He's not gonna give a shit. It's like, oh, like I can't get in her pants, bye, like, and just checks out. But like, I felt like we had like this fun date, and then like we'd had this fun hookup, and then like you had expressed interest in like making it happen again, and I didn't want to just be like, boy, bye, because A, I think that's rude. And B, I wanted to make sure like you knew where I was coming from. So like maybe in the future it could be like, oh, like I don't make it like super explicitly clear that I'm like trying to find someone who's along the train.
I mean,
on
like
my
I said,
way to get to work.
I can definitively say I have never said that to anyone.
So like lesson learned, and like I'm glad I had that conversation with you.
The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by Cam Soda, the 24/7 strip club available on your computer, mobile device, and tablet. I'm really digging. I've now switched over and started using Cam Soda myself, and I'm just enjoying the wide array of cam models that are available on this site. Everything from couples to big tits to squirters to pregnant girls to like really hot gamer babes. In fact, I would encourage y'all to go check out Lady Amalthea. You'll see a link to her specific Cam Soda page in the show notes, but she's got a little message for you.
Everyone listening to the Cam... I said Cam Whore. You take two. Hey, everyone listening to the Man Whore Podcast. Come watch me on Cam Soda.
Go sign up for Cam Soda today. Give it a try totally for free. If you sign up at camsoda.com/podcast, you get 50 free tokens. Again, that's camsoda, camsoda.com/podcast. Go join me on there. I know I'm having fun. And now let's get back to the show. But you know, what do you think someone owes someone in a breaking off? Because a lot of people normally would just ghost. I think that's the typical
I'm
thing.
guilty of that.
Yeah.
I'm working around it. I now have a template text message.
Shut up.
I because I like, I feel like a few years ago, probably like around the time I was like, I saw you, I was like going on like a lot of dates. And then, you know, sometimes guys would not say anything. Sometimes guys would want to go on a second date. And I like didn't know what to say. And I didn't want to lie because like, I feel like that's bad karma for dating. Like if I lie about not liking this guy or liking this guy, it's going to come back and bite me in the ass when I get married or something. I don't know. It's stupid. But, yeah. So I was recently talking to a guy. I like met him on Tinder. He was living in a different state that I had visited. And that's when we matched. So we were talking and talking and talking. And then it got to a point where I realized, for a few different reasons, it just wouldn't work out for the type of thing I was looking for. And so I like drafted up this whole message and I thought it made a lot of sense. And then I even sent it to my best friend and I was like, does this like clearly convey that like you're a good person? And like while this has been fun, I do not see this moving forward anymore, and I think it best that we cut off communication. And she was like, yeah, this makes sense. And then I sent it and the guy was bewildered and was like, what do you mean? You just said we're having fun, so why can't it keep being fun? This, that, and the other. And I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Stop making me justify my decision.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like fun, you know, sex. That's what I mean by fun. I mean sex, because if you say sex, that's bad. But I could say fun. We were doing fun.
well, we weren't having sex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I'd never even met him.
Oh,
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's like, this isn't
Okay.
even a person that I've met. So I'm just trying to be like, we've been talking. We were sexting. Like, I won't
Sure.
lie. Like, there were some pictures. There were some words.
Okay.
Which was very fun. But like when push came to shove, it was like, I don't foresee myself like pursuing like a romantic relationship with this person. And that's what I want. So why am I going to continue to invest like time and energy and effort into something that isn't the end goal that like I'm looking to achieve? And so I was trying to be polite and not ghost him. And he was just like, he was very upset.
Yeah.
And he like made an implication that like he was basically going to get wasted. And I was like, that's horrible, but like I can't.
Your body, your choice. Do your thing.
body, your choice. Yeah. Like not wise, but like, you know, like your choice. And then he recently reached out saying, hope you're doing well, to which I did not respond.
Which is always means if you would like to go back to
What we were doing.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want to do that.
So have you used this like breaking it off template since then?
No.
Or you have it?
I have it.
And do you plan on using it again in the future?
I think I might make a few edits, but like,
You know, you personalize it. It's like when you do cold calls. It's like it's
Basically.
always a copy and paste, but you have to edit it the first
oh my
couple
God,
of lines.
I feel like I'm a cold-hearted bitch, but I promise I'm trying to be nice.
No, that's good. I find that to be efficient. But you throw a couple things that personalize it for you. Yeah. Can we hear the
Oh, God.
template? You can't tell me you got a template
Oh my
breaking
God,
it off
okay.
message
Okay.
and then not deliver.
I hope I have it. I hope I didn't delete it. Let me look.
Well, that's the whole point of the template.
I'm pretty
is
sure I
to
have
keep it for future
I know.
use.
I know. Well, I mean, I could also go. I do have that person's text.
Oh, I
That's
see.
the one
I see how it
person-
is.
I would like to put it on the record that I have had a new phone for a few months, so like old conversations don't carry over anyway.
You're fine.
So, okay. Here it is.
May I?
May
Or would you prefer?
may I?
Okay.
Because then
go
there's
for it.
like a next part and a next part that were
Oh.
like other drafts that needed to be sent to the best friend. Like,
Okay. Well,
just-
let's hear the. Oh, do you have? Wait. So is this all that you have all the drafts in like a notepad
I
thing?
literally have a note. You can glance. I have a note. So like I sent
Can-
this. And then I had to send this to his response. And then I had to send this
Yeah,
to
but
his
that all
response.
was like in response to his whiny bullshit. I want to know
Exactly.
what I want to hear the template for just
The-
trying to
the-
the thing that he should have just gone. Okay,
Okay.
take care,
TTYL.
be well, type
Be
of thing.
well.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get drunk now. Bye.
Yeah.
So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Take notes.
Yep. Get your notepads ready,
Okay.
everyone.
I like you and have had fun with you and want to be straightforward to be fair. I don't think continuing talking is something I should be focused on at this point in time. I'm sorry if you feel I've wasted your time and hope you find the right girl for you soon.
Mm.
I feel like
That's fair.
I feel like that
Fine.
conveyed that like you're a good person, like you're nice, but like you're not the one for me.
That's a fair text.
To which he then responded with some whiny nonsense. And then I was like, am I doing the right thing? And it's like, yes, like he's not the guy I'm going to like be with. So like I need to just chop off, move on.
Yeah.
So.
And what's always, and this is on, regardless of gender, when you end things off, what's always typically the response? But why? What did I do? Why? Can you please like give me a nice big long essay about why I suck so I can self-flagellate?
And like I definitely could have done that because there were definitely things, but I also
who's got time for that?
Also, like who has time? But like I don't like being the one to like point things out like that. Like I like making people feel good.
Oh, so this was like a very unique situation for you.
Yes. Yes. Well, like my intention in texting you what we had talked about like wasn't to make you feel bad. Which like I don't think you did.
I only felt bad in retrospect when I looked at it myself.
Yeah. So like in the moment I think I was speaking for myself and trying to like I was trying to get something out of that conversation. And I haven't like thoroughly read all of it, so I don't know necessarily what that is right now.
Well, you got kind of emotional at one point in it. I don't know if you got that far down.
I didn't. I got to that big one, and then
I sort of felt just
scroll up a little.
Okay.
No, yeah, go back down.
This is the. Tell me, you want to talk or you want to type, and then this is your big long one.
Yeah.
But then, you say, well, I'm kind of sitting here bawling, which is cathartic, but no, I don't feel any better. And I'm like bawling about me. And you say, no, not about you, but just like how I feel. Like I'd prefer not to be simplified to just someone you have sex with. Like it would be nice if you had at least gone through the pleasantries of flirting before asking if I wanted to get together.
Yeah.
Or left out the part about just trying to get with whoever was available. I don't want to be some scheduled appointment to get you off. I guess I'm just not cut out for the casual sex lifestyle. And what I read there is, I read a feeling of disrespected, and I feel, and you bawling. I think I do remember if you said you were bawling, I have a faint memory of going, oh wait, what? Something real's happening.
Yeah,
which is a lot of times happens to me. Like I misread tone a lot.
It's that empathy thing again.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Folks in the Peep Show will know exactly what I'm talking about from what happened last week. Yeah, like sometimes just it'll take a certain thing that reminds me, oh, something real's happening. So like, when someone was displeased with how I handled a situation in our kick group, it wasn't until it said that they left the chat group that I was like, oh, wait, something like real and serious is happening. Before I don't realize like the severity of the conversation.
Got it.
And so that didn't feel good to read because I was like, oh shit, I think I made someone feel bad.
Yeah.
That's not awesome.
Yeah.
And I also didn't want, I reread this and I go like, fuck, I hope I didn't put someone off of having casual sex at all because I was being shit. There's ethical good ways to
have casual sex.
Yeah. The way I was doing it was like fuckboy supreme.
Yeah.
Not great. It had nothing to do with you being bad at casual sex. It was me being bad at casual sex.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Like, I was so new to it that I thought I wasn't, I guess, like up to speed with what that should look like. I think our lenses were just different. I think they still are.
Yeah. Well, where's your lens at?
I'm still days? Like really not about the casual sex.
Mm-hmm.
I hooked up with a friend. I slept with a friend a few months ago, and then like a few weeks after that, I had hooked up with like a first date guy, which I had never really done. But like since then, I've not seen anyone, and I haven't really talked to either of them, and I don't know. It's just like, I want to be in a relationship that I can have like a lot of great sex in all of the time. And then like sex gets boring and like then you explore things and like you keep it interesting and that's great. But like, I want to do all of that with just like one person. I think I would just feel like safer and more comfortable that way.
For sure. Now you had fun, say, with the sexting guy, right?
Yeah.
Did you say you broke that off mostly because you just realized like that this isn't like gonna lead somewhere, and although it's fun, I I don't want to be focusing on fun stuff then if it's not going to be the end goal?
Yeah.
Or were there other things where like
There
are all sorts of good reasons to break that off?
There were multiple reasons. The distance was a reason. His sort of like living financial situation, and by no means do I like want to be a princess, but like he basically shit on me for saying, oh, like you're moving back to like your home state to live with your parents. Like that's pretty lame. But he was currently sleeping on his mom's couch. So I was just like, you can't be a hypocrite. Like that's not gonna fly.
Oh, he said that to you about you doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's like why are you gonna give me a hard time about like relocating states and like getting settled on my feet?
Mm-hmm.
When you like moved out of your apartment that you and your ex lived in and now you're sleeping on your mom's couch. Like you can't like make fun of me for that when you're like in the same boat. Yeah, and he like hated his job, but then like also chose not to like try and find a new job and just like was very negative. And I didn't have time for that.
Yeah, you want more positive people and people are gonna go get in a real boat and like just as a hobby. Someone who's motivated to
just
do
isn't
things.
negative all the fucking time.
Yeah, don't date a comedian then. Holy shit.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, nothing but negativity all day, every day.
Got it.
Just a well of self-hatred. It's terrible. So is marriage like your end goal?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like I can't know that for sure because I haven't been in like a long committed serious relationship. So I don't know like even really what that will look like for me. But
and why is that?
I mean you can try and get my ex on the show.
I've done that before.
Yeah, I mean like I did that whole groveling like why what is happening thing, but like also I genuinely was very blindsided. We'd only dated for a few weeks even. But
so it's not even really a breakup at that point.
Like it's not, but also it was like my first relationship and I was like, wow, like he's really great. Oh, he wants to meet my parents. Like I didn't ask him that. He was like, oh, your parents are going to be in town? Like I'll help you entertain them. Like we'll go out to lunch. He got me like this really nice Christmas gift. Like all of these things I was like, oh, these are like good things. Like I think this
in just a couple weeks of dating.
Yeah. I was like, oh, like maybe this is going well. And then right after New Year's, he was like, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, wait, you just like brought me to like your friend's New Year's party. We did dinner with them. You met my parents. Like, I just don't understand where this is coming from. Like, I need you to explain because I genuinely have no idea. Like, we've never had a fight.
Where'd you meet this guy?
I met him on OkCupid, and then on our first date, I was like, what do you do for a living? And he was like, I work for OkCupid. And I laughed in his face because I thought he was joking, but he wasn't. And so I was like, oh, well, that's cool. What do you do for them? And then it was like, I had a lot of fun with him, but then it just like it ended. And I don't know, like I haven't met anyone that I've had a connection with, who has also like wanted to pursue like the kind of thing that I want to pursue.
Huh.
So
that's unfortunate.
If you know any cool guys that, want a pretty nice lady that just wants to have lots of great sex and like watch movies and maybe adopt a dog one day, that would be great.
I mean, I feel for you on that. I don't know if I ever told you why I started the show.
No.
I started the show when I was like 24 because I had this problem where women would sleep with me, but they wouldn't date me. And I wanted to date. I wanted a girlfriend.
And so you wanted to figure out why women didn't want to date you.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
how's that working out?
200 episodes later.
Shit.
I got dumped about 10 days ago. So doing great. I'm doing fine.
Do you think that you've learned anything from this journey though?
Some things, yeah.
Okay.
The one I say often is like I've learned I'm condescending to partners, especially younger partners. I have whether I've learned it through the show or through the actual dating, like my obsession with needing to be right thoroughly gets in my way. And there's some other stuff.
Okay.
where someone lives on a train doesn't fucking matter. Shut your face, Billy.
Yeah, like if they're the right person, like you find a way to fucking get to them.
Not everyone needs to know that people have sex with you. It's okay. It's your high school's over, so it's fine. The kids from high school believe you now. It's okay. Learning some things like that, and I'm far from finished because I don't know if you've noticed, I am super flawed. So it's just plenty to learn. But I feel for you on the like still never having that serious relationship because and wanting it so badly because I also was like I still do, like I want someone who I have that connection with, who wants to have some awesome sex, who wants to watch movies, who wants to love me back. Yeah. And that sucks when just all the love you feel is always unrequited. Yeah. Because, before starting the show, I had one relationship freshman year of college for a year, and that was it. And then everything else was just, hey, no, I just want to keep it casual. Hey, just fuck me. Hey, no, I don't really want to go out to dinner. No, I don't want to meet your parents. And that's not fun. So I'm sorry that's still a thing going on for you.
Just trying to live my best life.
Trying to.
That's why I introduced myself as single AF. Because I definitely want to not be, but here we are.
What do you think? Do you have like an ideal guy in your head?
Well, the one that comes to mind is the one that I told myself I don't have a crush on him anymore. But like I definitely still have a crush on him.
Oh, Allison.
It's tough.
Yeah.
So,
well, what's he like? Come on, give us an idea of, because look, maybe someone's listening right now. It's like, you know what? Allison sounds great. She sounds super cute. Like, I can have sex with just her. I can do that whole monogamous movie watching date thing.
You might be right. He's a teacher.
Okay.
And he works at the school I work at. So like that's how I know him. And super into music. Does some DJ stuff, does some recording stuff, has, I think, really good, like judge of character. One of his good friends who I've met is just a gem of a human. And so I think it says a lot, the company you like keep with you. And so to know that he has like this person who's like one of his best friends, who's also this great person, just like is a nice thing. And I don't know.
Well, if you could paint the ideal guy, I mean, is this the ideal guy, or like what other things might you add or take away?
Oh gosh.
I just imagine when you're single for that length of time, I've
basically been single my whole life.
Right.
Like if we really think about it.
And having also been in a similar situation at one point in time, I had an idea of like what the woman of my dreams was like. You know what I mean? So I didn't know if you also had an idea in your head, if you had a picture.
I don't have like so much like a physical representation. This might sound silly, but like I want a guy whose face I really like. Like
that is the least silly thing you could fucking say.
Like, and like some people are like, wait, you don't, what about like abs or arms or like a butt or leg? And I'm like,
none of it.
Like, no, like I have to spend like 97% of the time I'm like communicating with you in person, like staring at your face. Mm. So like I would just like the person to have a nice face. The person I have a crush on has a nice face. So like there's that. I want someone who, I think, we spend a lot of time at work, and if you come home every day from work and you're miserable, then that's like a really hard thing to support a partner in, because you see them struggling and you see them unhappy. So like having someone who's like really passionate about their work and enjoying it, or finding a way to pursue work that they love, I think is really important.
You don't want to always feel like you need to solve a problem that you can't really fix.
Yeah. Because you can't tell someone, well, if you don't like your job, you should just quit it, because that's not my place to say. But at the same time, I'm also not going to sit there and like tell you every day, like, oh, like it's going to get better, because like clearly it's not, because you're going into it every day with a negative mindset, or maybe it's just a shithole of a job. And like sometimes that happens and that sucks. And obviously like a lot of people at our age, like in our 20s and even early 30s sometimes, don't have their career figured out. So like, I don't know that I expect someone to have it figured out right now, but they have to have sort of a vision of what they want that part of their life to look like.
Time for the fan whore appreciation moment. What is up? This is the part of the podcast where I like to thank some of the members of my fan whore community on Patreon. These are the people who keep the podcast moving and grooving and keep a roof over my head and some food in my belly. Shout out right now to E. Campos. I think that's a fake name, and I think you succeeded in hiding your identity from me. So all I can say is thank you from the bottom of my heart, whoever the fuck you are. Shout out to Kyle M. in Chicago. Thanks for being a supporter. Thanks for being a patron, buddy. Much love. And also a big old shout out to David the firefighter. You know who you are. He's been putting the Peep Show on fire with his underwear photos when he's not putting out fires in the real world. Thanks so much for supporting the pod, buddy. And you too can become a member of our fan whore community for as little as $1 a month. Did I say $1? Yeah, $1 a month gets you access to so many things. Exclusive Patreon-only communities, bonus episodes of the Man Whore podcast, a discount to Man Whore Con, and oh so much more. All you gotta do is pledge today at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And now let's go ahead and wrap up with Allison.
Must love dogs.
Okay.
I know that's super cliche.
I'm pretty sure it's the name of a
It's the name of a movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but
Must love dogs, but you do not have to love the movie Must Love Dogs.
correct. Yes. I'm obsessed with dogs. I don't have them on today, but I have dog socks. I now live with dogs via a roommate, and that makes me extremely happy. I volunteer at a shelter, and I just love dogs. So you must love dogs. And don't make fun of me when I say I'm a really picky eater. I think I'm a pretty simple person.
Hey, listeners, stop making fun of me for being a picky eater. You too, Kenzie. Okay, I get shit for being a picky eater. I only eat Asian food, and I'm apparently a bad person.
That's not even a big thing,
right?
I don't eat mashed potatoes.
I do. I had my first mashed potatoes in 2017.
So, I'm not okay.
And I'm
I don't
28
like
years
them.
old, so I just had them for the first time.
I don't like that gritty, mushy
I don't like that
thing.
texture.
Yeah, see, you get it.
I get it. I also don't like a lot of slimy things, so I've never liked jelly. So I eat peanut butter sandwiches, but not peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh, no, I like the jelly.
I do like the jelly, but yeah, you get that. It's
So,
fine.
I
yeah.
get it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna shame you for not liking jelly. It's your palate.
both picky eaters. How did this not work out?
I don't know. I think it was because you were in your fuckboy zone.
I was in fuckboy zone, and this is right before I met my now ex-girlfriend, who I dated for almost 2 years. Those text messages from early November 2015. I met Paige probably a month later at the Christmas hacienda party. Yeah, Paige is not a picky eater.
Is that the reason you broke up? Because you didn't like the food she liked?
Man, if only that was the reason.
If only it was that simple.
If only it was that simple. Sadly not. Oh boy, Allison, this is how you feel? How you feel? We were about 45 minutes into this.
Feeling good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does this feel like a natural thing to just go and read old text messages with some dude you blew once years ago?
Yeah. Feels pretty normal. Maybe not normal, but comfortable.
Was there ever a text message you thought you might get because you knew I had the podcast when we went out?
I think for a time, shortly after we had, decided to not see each other, I was like, oh, maybe
when you decided we're not.
Well,
we were gonna,
yes,
yeah.
when I decided.
Let's not pretend like I was.
It was not a we.
I was all about it.
So when I decided that I did not want to continue seeing you, I thought that maybe I'd hear from you in 3 to 6 months, but never did I think 2.5 years later I'd get this random text message hey, it's Billy, can we do a podcast episode? But I'm glad I'm here.
I'm glad you're here too.
Yeah.
Being fresh off a breakup that had a lot of criticisms of me, I thought what better way to self-flagellate than to go with someone where oh, I know I fucked up here, so this one is more clear cut and I can understand it.
Well, I think I spelled it out.
Quite well.
Quite literally.
Quite literally.
Typed it out.
And I don't even want, because I have these, after our initial thing of like you know, saying like what you were feeling and not feeling great. Look, I'm not even reading them, but like, look how long these big block texts are. And I am nervous. Like, I don't even want to read them because I'm nervous of what the fuck I might be trying to say in
to
there.
Communicate and reel me back into thinking this is a good idea.
Well, I did do that. I texted you one more time, like I think like a couple weeks later. I said something along the lines of,
why do guys do that? I'm going to ask that question.
Because to hold out hope. You just say maybe they changed their mind, or maybe there's something to keep here. So those were like November 1st. So 3 weeks later, I say, hey, cutie, wanted to give you your space to think. If you want to meet for a drink or a burger or coffee. I don't drink coffee, but I'm really good at watching people drink coffee. Let me know. I hope you had a good week. And then, I never hear from you, which is fine.
Yeah.
But that's that last ditch effort of like, hey, maybe there's something here. And if not, oh well. Certainly wasn't going to like harass you every week for 6 months or something. But, and then I reached out to you while I was out. Where was I? I was in Vegas for that. So this is before the breakup. Okay. So it was just really good timing on my part. Go me. Well, Allison, thank you so much for coming over and chatting with me and going down memory lane. Well, thanks for coming over, and I do hope you the best of luck in finding a fella or fellas, who knows what life will bring you. And I know you said you're moving, and maybe being in a calmer area of the country will bring that. The only thing that makes me concerned is the where you're moving to. I go like, yeah, but then you also have, like, you're going to move to a place where putting no Trump supporters will be like an actually needed line in the bio.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Well, I shouldn't just assume that's a thing for you, but is that like a limit for you?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a limit.
Right. And so like where you're going, I'm like, oh, but you now have to screen out so much.
I have to screen so much.
Well,
like if it's the first line of the bio, then I think I'll be okay.
Hopefully scares them away. Well, I hope it. I hope you filter them out real good and find someone great. Allison, thanks again. One last time. I want you to go ahead and say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Well, this is one of those episodes where I can say I learned something. I feel like I genuinely got something out of it. And, just every once in a while, you need someone needs to check you. To be like, hey, Billy, you're being kind of a fuckboy supreme. I'll be like, oh, shit, my bad. Let me go ahead, restart the computer, and correct myself. I'm really glad that Allison, made the time to come on over, that she came by and opened up. It's a really cool chat. I would like to know what you thought about this week's episode. I always do. Give me a line on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at @TheBillyPersita. Use the hashtag ManWhorePodcast. Let me know what you thought about this week's show. Of course, if you have something longer to say, if you got a comment, a question, maybe some boobies, you can send any of that on over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. I hope to see a lot of you at the Fan Whore Facebook Live Hangout next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Go like the Man Whore Podcast Facebook page. Search Man Whore Podcast, not Billy Persita. Okay, cool. And last but certainly not least, become a member of my Fan Whore community for as little as $1 per month. Help support the podcast. Help keep this going. Help us reach our stretch goal of $1,000 pledged by April 16th. I know we can do it. Be a part of the solution. Head on over to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Oh, of course. Sorry, that was a lie. There's one more thing. This is the last thing. Is ManWhoreCon. Go get your tickets, okay? You got super early bird prices are available for a limited time only. Head on over to manwhorepod.com/tickets. Go get yours today. We're gonna have one hell of a time. Enjoy yourselves and stay slutty.